on this one I'm doing bands, rendered bands over existing Pebble Dash render. I'm gonna do a step by step and explain each step and process and why I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, just as much details as possible. So do enjoy. So before I crack on and do my voiceover, just want to sort of say I hope everyone's well and safe, and your whole families are doing good and staying safe as well. And that even if hopefully we're watching this video again in 5 years to come and looking back thinking, that was awful, and hopefully not as awful as it can be. Hopefully everyone's taking good measures to keep themselves safe, and hopefully some scientists can come up with things that are great and good to help us all out. But yeah, I just wanted to just get that out of the way and before the video starts. So just really hope you are doing well and staying safe. And enough about that. We'll talk about some plastering now, just to get the mind off it all. So the job in front of me is there's somebody. It wasn't me that put that loose render on. Sorry, it was me that took it off, but I did not put that render on. It was done in a way where the way that I was rendered there with the devil float over it would mean to me that they were going to skim it, which, that's how I would do my insides. I imagine it was internal mortar and they didn't bond the head because nothing stayed on the head at all. In fact, the render that they used keyed better to the stones on the outside, which to me, I prefer not to plaster over stones, but in this case, the way it stuck to them, I imagine my superior mix will stick to stones much better, as I'm going to use ASBR in my mix, and I'm going to do my mix, I'm going to do this rendering in a 2-coat system, whereas previously it was only 1 coat along the head, which wasn't very strong material. It had no bond whatsoever to that concrete. So the SBR should give us a superior bond and grip a lot better, waterproof much better than, obviously loose render is not waterproof. Again, here's a better angle, as you can see how wobbly it is. Doesn't really fight me coming off. Just putting the board in, and that board's just to protect any bit that does just come away, deflect it away from the glass so it won't scratch or break the glass. But I literally pulled it off by hand there. It's just the edges where it touches the stone has a bit of bite, and I'm just being particular about those areas because I might not be going as high as them when I do the band. My plan is to strip all off, then I'll measure out. My plan will be to try to do the band at the top. It can be a wee bit higher, but the sides and stuff, I'll have to try to catch the edge of the header, which on my right hand side will be a wee bit wider. I think it goes over a wee bit wider there. So I might have to patch some stones in there, but I don't want to patch all the way along the top because it just won't look nice. And this is a lovely area of the back here, so I want to sort of make this stand out and pop and be more of a feature of this part of the garden. And hopefully you'll see what I've achieved by the end of it. Quite a bit of a voiceover here, but I just wanted to show every step. It's not something I would normally do, would be plastering over stones. But like I said, the superior mix that the people did in front of me bit into the stones, gripped, keyed well. So my mixes, two stages with SBR in them and waterproof, should bite a lot better than the previous. so I'm confident. We taking my time here on the edges. Want to get them clean and right before I start adding more plaster, and then decide later, I should have took that, I should have did that, should have did this. Better get all your preparation done. I find the more you prep, the more you think about it, plan and prep the job, the easier things become finishing them, and the tidier of a finish you're going to end up having. And again, a superior finish, one that should hopefully last a lifetime. I'm always saying that, guys, that any work I do, I'm truly wanting it to stay on there a lot longer than myself onto this plant. But yeah, so quick look here. I'm gonna probably bring my header up to that height, and both sides, both sides will go past left and right, and we'll be doing that wee wall as well in another video. So what you're watching now is I'm cutting a joint there just between the reveal. Again, this part was patched in, but because it was patched in the block, it's holding a bit stronger than the concrete head, because concrete's smooth, there's no key on it, and again, obviously no bonding agent. So I cut this because if I just start chipping at it, it will break off the corner, causing me have to build out more and more. So I'm trying to be sensible on the way I'm chipping off. But this bottom, it needs to come. Again, it's crumbly mortar, you can see that it's not really that strong. It's a bit dusty, it's a bit crumbly. Also, it was too far out. I don't know where they were going. They were just way too far out on the reveal. Compared to the top, they weren't in line. But what I'm doing is I'm chipping off, and the top reveals and the right hand reveals are absolutely solid. So I'm just going to key them up, and again SBR and a coat of SBR sand cement mix over them should be strong also. So after that, you're going to want to get your dust off, any dirt off, and just to make sure you key well. You can't plaster over a big pile of dust. It'll just shell off. And what I'm using here is a power hose that a good mate of mine lent me. So that's on my to get list, is a power hose. So if there is any companies that want to get a power hose reviewed, you're more than welcome to give me a shout. But yeah, back to the job. I was grateful he lent me it, because it worked a treat, better than scrubbing and washing down with a bucket in the scrubby, or just dusting down. So what I did was power hose the reveals and get dirt off and everything else. I'll just jump on the hawk and trowel. I'm using the Pointsman hawk, and that's again the Kraken Spear and Jackson. Ragnai trowel, I think that's the Refina Scratcher again, and possibly might introduce the Refina Pool trowel for some of these jobs. But yeah, I'm going to start getting the scratch coat on here. But before you do get your scratch coat on, make sure and get all the dust off. I've also given that a quick prime with SBR over the head, and there's SBR in the mix as well. But it being summertime, giving it a good power hose is not a problem. It'll dry up quick enough for me to work on later. As you can see, it's quite bright. And what I'm doing is I'm just freehanding the corner. It would take a bit longer, but obviously I've only got 2 sets of hands. I could have set up a rule and props and stuff, but this is working okay for such a small area anyway. It's not a big deal. But you might want, if you're doing that, you might want to set up a rule and prop it up and work along the rule and get yourself a nice sharp edge. Right, just taking my time, getting it nice and straight, just by eye for now. And I don't know if you can really notice it, because I've sped up the video to help make it more interesting, but I'm really pushing in tight to all the gaps, and pushing in with a lot of pressure, making sure I'm pushing out all the air, and making sure there's no air trapped in behind, and getting it well nipped in for a good bond. That's why it looks like I'm doing a lot of trowel work on it, which I actually am. Making sure I get it well applied to all them edges, and there's no hollows in behind. It's just going to be solid bond. But yeah, the power hose really worked a treat, guys, getting off any dirt and dust, and I was able to give the window, as you can see, the window's quite clean. I was able to give it a power hose clean as well. Just running a scratcher. You can see a wee bit just beside my left arm, nip down off there. You will get that when you don't use rules. It's a bit of a pain, bit of a nuisance. But again, you know, if it's taken up and stuff, you can come back, tidy that up, just as I am doing now when it's still actually wet. Just to form a nice square edge so that the edge is solid as well. You don't want no edges hanging and loose. And I know there's a lot of plasters and renderers are going to know the pain of trying to freehand a concrete head, especially a bit of a long one, and give it a key where it does tend to want to drop off because concrete is smooth. And obviously I've done a lot of things. I've wetted up and stuff and primed it, so it's got absolutely no suction. So what I've done there, if you notice there top right, I just measured out. Now, I measured out, say this band's going to be 5 inches, I've measured out 4 3/4, and I'm striking a line up here. And my idea is with this is that I don't want to go right out to the finished edge just yet. I want to just stay a 1/4 inch so that my final coat will just wrap around that edge so that you can't see no jointing, no double coating. You'll just see the finished edge coat. You just will be able to see that, and I'll be able to explain that a wee bit better on a couple of clips in. And again, looks like I'm doing a lot of trowel work here because I'm pressing in, making sure there's no voids in behind the stone, really working it. It's not the easiest thing to work over the top of the stone, so you gotta really work it in, press it in tight. Again, it's not an ideal thing, but to chip all that off, you would be giving yourself work. And you know, what if another lump? What if you start to cause more problems where it starts chipping off? Then you have to patch and stuff. So this is a sort of way around it. And there has been a few subscribers have asked about rendering over stone. Again, I'm not going to say I recommend it strongly, but when you have to do something, sometimes you have to do it. And this is the way I'm going about it in this situation. And again, just measuring it now and again, making sure I'm within the boundaries I want to be. And if not, you might want to scrape it and clean it off before that stuff gets solid hard. And let me tell you, when SPR sets, guys, it sets strong, and within the next morning, this is going to be rock solid, ready to go. SPR is almost an accelerant. It will speed up your render mixes of tightening and setting off. So definitely, if you are doing any work like this, or there's any wee edges, you gotta really push in your render. It's vital to get it in, pressed in. I know I've said it already, but I'm gonna say it again. You gotta get it pressed in. And I'm just running the scratch around now to get a good key for the finished coat. And after I've done all what I've done here, I'm gonna let this sit and get rules on, which you'll see shortly here. I'll put my rules on around the edges like so. And what I've done then is I plastered the head and plastered, not the same day, I done this the next day, plastered the two sides and the head so that they're hard. So this has took me a few days, but I was doing other work in the area and around this job as well, where, you know, I was able to do that. And you can still see the moisture. This is a bit earlier. You can see the moisture soaking in from the reel into the scratch coat. If you are using rules, guys, and nails, always hammer the nails out. You know, if that rule falls and there's a 6-inch nail or 4-inch nail sticking out of it and you stand on it, you will regret not hammering that nail out. I know there's a lot of boys out there don't do it, but I strongly advise doing it. Or you could stand on it, or it could scratch across you, also leaving you a nice scar, but you don't want. Stripping rules off, guys, always give them a wee tap. You this is sped up a wee bit, but give them all a wee tap before you pull out the nails. That'll break the bond between the wood and the mortar, and it'll give you a nice clean line that you're working to previous. Now you could have chucked these on straight away, and when they start taking up, pull them off, but you risk at the corner, a bit like when I was freehand, you have a big risk where it could drop off because of the weight of the cement with the moisture and stuff in it. It tends to want to sag and pour like a liquid at times as well. Luckily I'm doing this in the summer, it's quite warm, quite hot. So you notice now I'm just freehanding the top here because I'll measure it out and I'm gonna cut that. And my plan is I'm not doing a flat edged base. Sorry, I'm not doing a flat edged band at the top here. I'm gonna do like a base. I'm gonna cut this chamfered edge so that any water hits this back wall will come down, drip and drip away from the door and away from the reveals, and it can't get in behind the render. So you'll see that up close at the end. I'll show you what way I finished that. Also, you'll notice left and right there's two rules tacked up, and you'll also notice if you stir real close to the left and right, there's about a quarter of an inch, half inch of still some stones, and that was, if you remember back to what I was saying there, that's so I have a finished edge on the outside and it doesn't look like a double coated sort of. It is a double coated system, but I'm trying to just cover the edge of that also. So the two rules are the same thickness, left and right here, and I'm working off them for depth so that they're nice and chunky and there's a bit of body to them and they look nice and tidy when they're all done. So I've nailed them on plumb, measured out for my reveals. My reveals now are finished. Remember, on the inside, left and right is finished, so I'm able to measure from them out and then make these lines up and down level. I know level and plumb, so I can pull off the two buttons either side as well. I am sort of working freehand at the minute on the inside corner, but again I'll show you what I do when I'm on my own, how I solve that problem of just being one man on a job, where normally if there's two of you can get a guy to hold the rule up the inside, and then it's easy then just to pull the trowel up, get it straight, nice and even, nice and tidy, ready for rubbing up. But the plan is with bands is you gotta get them on as quick as possible, and you don't always have to get it out in one pass. You can hit them a wee quick one and then come back, and once you come back you can give them another wee lick as well, because sometimes when you go too heavy it tends to sag like a liquid. It wants to pour off the wall, so you may want to keep that in mind. So just flying along the top with a wee straight edge, pulling it off left and right, and filling out. Just straighten it as if you would a wall. You fill in your slacks. Again, at this top edge, I've really nipped it into the stones, just beyond my scratch coat. And yes, I'm using this is actually a Spear & Jackson spatula. They have a much more improved one at the minute now, and I'm just using it to get the top straight here. Again, you could set up a rule and prop the rule up, or if you have a mate, he can hold the rule up at the head here and give you something easy to work off. So you can see how I worked from left to right there off my two buttons either side. There's loads of ways you can do this. You can stick beads and stuff on, but to me this is a sharper finish because I'm getting the work into the stones. And again with the buttons as well, you have a bit of tidying up to do when you take them off and stuff as well, just as you would with beads, because obviously behind the bead you're going to hit the highest stones, which is going to cause you to have to fill in around the bead. So this is my way around to getting it straight. So I'm putting on at my spirit level, and I'm getting it level and pulling up off, getting it plumb. Sorry, I always say level when I mean plumb, and and vice versa. But I'm pretty sure you all understand what I'm saying. Get your bubble in the middle, and then you know you're straight. But before you do that, if you're using the batten, you have to make sure you're coming off square as well, so it's nice and even round. The more you do of jobs like this, the easier they'll become. It's that's just life. The more you do of anything, the better you'll become. Practice makes perfect. And like I said, if you were just tackling one window or one door, you know, and you take it the way I'm doing it, step by step, you'll not be under any pressure. Although this was quite warm, so and had SPR in, it will speed up your setting times. So you know, there is many things to think about. Also, you could use beads on the inside, which will free up your hands a little bit. But I don't particularly like the bead around the white bead or a silver bead around this door. I thought it would look a lot sharper. Just finished off nice and free-handed. Always check with your float as well, guys. When you have it all on, I've got it all on straight now. You can always check with your float. Do the finger, press it in, and make sure it's nice and tight, ready for rubbing. As you can see, this is rubbing nicely enough. I think the head is a bit slower than the sides, as the concrete still underneath has less suction than the two sides. And that's how I rub it down and get a nice square edge just down onto my level, my spirit level. See, things are shaping up. All of a sudden everything comes together. At the end you'll notice all your preparation. It all boils down to this point, is the finish. It all falls into place when you're nearing the finish line. As you can see. So again, you can fill out, guys. Make sure you fill in your holes when you're rubbing them, and it'll just make for a much tidier finish. If there's any wee dimples or wave marks on a band, it can look real bad when the sun hits it. So you want to take your time on some, you know, on especially jobs like this, that they will draw your eye to such a job. Again, I'm doing the same for the sides. This is how I overcome it. You can use a longer straight edge, but I tend to find that the yellow one, the wee Stabila yellow level straight edge, is it's just perfect to be able to hold with one hand and rub with one hand. It never really moves on me. I seem to be able to grip it very well. As you can see, literally holding it with a couple of fingers. But that's down to, as well, I'm not putting a big lot of pressure on with my left hand. Which, yeah, I'm plastering with my left hand here when I'm right-handed. But sometimes it's a lot easier just to use your left hand. You'll notice on the right there, guys, again, you don't need buttons to do this, but the reason I use buttons is they will make your clean-up job tidier. If you look to my right at the bottom corner there, I have just overlapped my button at the bottom. Obviously, I had two buttons that were the same thickness, but one was a wee bit shy on length. So I just freehand the bottom, and again, I can cut this nice and tidy and clean away the excess. So nothing really to worry about there. If I had to get an up close one of this, so because my inside ones, they're still sort of green and fresh, but you will want to make sure and get the joint in. I'm just using a small tool. I think it's a Spear & Jackson or a Ragnar small tool, and I'm just troweling it up and then giving it a wee light sponge at the end, and that just pulls in that joint lovely, because you will have a joint from the face to the side. Again, like I said, you have a few options of doing this, but I find this is the easiest way, where things bond good and they don't want to drop off and stuff on you if you have a solid inside reveal. And a good clean sponge. Refine actually have some nice sponge floats at the moment as well. At this stage I don't think I had one, but definitely they have some good fine sponges and stuff. So again, you know, or a car sponge. I'm using a simple 99p car sponge here, or a pack for three for like £3 or £2 for three. But yeah, it's all about the cleanup now. Once you get it rubbed up, sponged in, cleaning up is very important because cement with SBR in it would literally stick to that glass. It would stick to the metal handles, and it will certainly stick to the PVC. It'll 100% stick to the ground, and any stones around the edges that you need to clean off, it will really stick to them. So I've just to cut my top here, and then to clean up. So I'm using the Rambo Tools base cutter. No, I tell a lie. Actually, I'm using my coin cutter, and I've just took it apart. It has a level on it as well. And what I've done is I measured up, say 5 inches, 6 inches, 7 inches, if whatever thickness you want of your band, whatever depth you want it to be. I measured up from the finished head reveal up, and I've just nicked the corner. Guys, you are going to do that. You're going to damage it, but you're going to have to repair it as you go. That's just going to happen. A rule could fall and scrape it. You're going to have to do these things too. Don't panic if you scratch it. You can't fix it again. So yes, measured up, and I think I used a bigger level that went right across. You can see a level below me, and struck a line, just a wee line right across. And now I'm able to use my small tool and my coin cutter here. The coin cutter has a 75-degree angle on it, which is going to give me a nice slope to help further protect this set of bands I'm doing, as I'm putting a slope on the top. The slope's very important to me, especially because this is being plastered on the top and not, a normal band will go on and then your stones will be plastered down to them, sealing in the back a queer bit as well. The fact that I'm cutting it also cuttings it. I'm cutting it and I'm smoothing it in, so it's going to be very locked in, tight, troweled in, and finished, so that the rain can't absorb into any wee holes or anything. Again, I'll try and get a wee quick close up of it, but this is pretty much me done with the last cut here, and then all I have to do is, like I said, strip off my rules when the bands take up, and clean up the outside edges as well. So that's the tactics I use to go over stone if you really must. I do prefer to chip it all off and go back to the block or brick and start again. But when you really, really must do it, you can see the Larson SBR there actually on the table beside the big refiner bucket. And when you really must, that is the way to go about it. SBR in the mix, SBR painted on and scratched. The wee wall there done fresh as well. I will dig out a few clips if anybody's interested in seeing them being done. I'll dig out a few clips of them. And there you go, guys, up close and personal. All's left is, like I said, to clean up, get everything clean. And the top here, so see the way it's protruding onto the stones. What I'm going to do is a couple of dry brush, pick at it with a small tool, and then a wet brush way later on when I know everything's set and I don't want to stain.